Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would echo Congressman Collins' comments as well. Mr. Zuckerberg, I think that we as Americans have a concept of digital privacy rights and privacy that aren't necessarily codified, and we're trying to sift through how do we actually make privacy rights in a way that are intelligible for tech and understandable to the community at large. And so my questions are oriented in that fashion. First, if you look at GDPR, the EU privacy law that's about to take effect, what pieces of that do you feel would be properly placed in American jurisprudence? In other words, right to erasure, right to get our data back, right to rectify. Could you share with us how you see that playing out, not just for you, but for the smaller companies? Because I do believe you have a sincere interest in seeing small tech companies prosper.
Yes, Congressman. So there are a few parts of GDPR that I think are important and good. One is making sure that people have control over how each piece of information that they share is used. So people should have the ability to know what a company knows about them, to control and have a setting about who can see it, and to be able to delete it whenever they want. The second set of things is making sure that people actually understand what the tools are that are available. So not just having it in some settings page somewhere, but put the tools in front of people so that they can make a decision. And that both builds trust and makes it so that people's experiences are configured in the way that they want. That's something that we've done a number of times over the years at Facebook, but with GDPR, we will now be doing more and around the whole world. The third piece is there are some very sensitive technologies that I think are important to enable innovation around, like face recognition, but that you want to make sure that you get special consent for, right? It's if we make it too hard for American companies to innovate in areas like facial recognition, then we will lose to Chinese companies and other companies around the world that are able to innovate in that.
Do you feel you should be able to deploy AI for facial recognition for a non-FB user?
Congressman, I think that that's a good question, and I think that this is something that probably that people should have control over how it is used, and that we're going to be rolling out and asking people whether they want us to use it for them around the world as part of this this push that's upcoming. But I think in general, for sensitive technologies like that, I do think you want a special consent.
Right.
And I think that would be a valuable thing to consider.
Two quick ones. Is Facebook, in utilizing that platform, ever a publisher in your mind?
Congressman,
you had said you're responsible for content, right? You said that yesterday. Are you ever a publisher, as the term is legally used?
Congressman, I'm not familiar with how the term is legally used.
Would you ever be legally responsible for the content that is put onto your platform?
Well, Congressman, let me put it this way. There is content that we fund, specifically in video today.
Right.
And when we're commissioning a video to be created, then I certainly think we have full responsibility of owning that content.
Which is what I think Chairman Walden's question was up front, right?
But the vast majority of the content on Facebook is not something that we commissioned. For that, I think our responsibility is to make sure that the content on Facebook is not harmful, that people are seeing things that are relevant to them and that encourage interaction and building relationships with the people around them. And that, I think, is the primary responsibility that we have.
My big concern, I'm not running out of time, is that someone limits their data to not being used for something that it might potentially be used for, that they have no idea how it might actually socially benefit. And I'm out of time, but I would like for you to share at a later point in time how the data that you get might be limited by a user, and your inability to use that data may actually prevent the kind of innovation that would bring about positive social change in this country. Because I do believe that was the intention and objective of your company, and I do believe you perform it very, very, very well in a lot of ways. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you.